the history of the NBA, like big-time controversial trades. Remember, the league stopped Chris Paul from getting traded to LA, and they said, "Hey, you better trade him to the other LA team." Guess what? We own the Pels at this time. You get the number 1 pick. Anthony Davis. Everybody wants Anthony Davis. Oh, we're going to trade him to LA. God. Great. You trade him to LA. Guess what? You get the number 1 pick. Luka Doncic. No one knows that he's.
You
available.
could also add LeBron went to Miami. Okay, Cavs. You get the number 1.
And they get Cavs 7 number 1
Luka,
picks to
you
try
go
to
to
fix
LA.
that situation.
You take care of LA. You get the number 1 pick. That seems to be the deal in this league.
Here's the thing. If they're rigging the draft, people would go to prison.
Nah,
I don't think so.
I don't think
You
so.
have rich people going to prison?
Yeah, come on, man.
Also,
how are we so certain that Nico is going to take Cooper Flag with the number 1 pick?
Well, doesn't it get interesting where if Nico says, "Hey, I got a 3-year," if Nico says, "Hey, I got a 3-year championship window, so I'm going to trade away this pick," like, do the Mavs then let him like, "Hey, the reaction to the Luka trade went so well. Yeah, we're gonna let you trade away the number 1 overall pick as well."
Can I ask you guys a question? Why does the NBA think this is a good system? The lottery system. Why do they think that? Why do they insist on this? Because we really don't have complaints about how the other sports do it. You have a system in which every year people allege is rigged. Everyone thinks that when the draft breaks certain ways, the first accusation from the masses is it's rigged, and also you're not actually doing anything to curb the tanking. You had Utah and Washington tank all year. They knew it wasn't guaranteed. They end up with picks 5 and 6. It ain't stopping the next Utah and Washington from tanking. It's literally not doing anything it's designed to do, and also everyone thinks it's rigged. Yeah. Why is this system still in place?
I mean, it does curb teams from tanking a little bit, right? A little bit.
It only curbs one.
Like it
is. A little bit.
It's only curbing this one that resides down here in Miami.
They also changed the system.
Flatten the odds.
And now it looks even more rigged than it did before they changed the system to make it not look rigged.
Why is this still around? Everyone has an issue with it. It's the worst of the major sports. It is literally working against the interest that it was designed to protect. I don't get why we still do this.
And there are models. There are models to improve the lottery, and one of them is to put extra weight on a team's record in the last 20 games of the season. I mean, there are ways.
That's interesting. So you would take chances away from them if they're especially bad the last 20 games?
NBA 2K fixed it. There are options to fix it.
That's not a terrible idea.
You have a little mini tournament. You take the final third of the season into account. There's so many possible solutions where teams can actually play into this, and you can reward not tanking. The league just refuses to do it, and you can only assume they love this stuff. They love everyone accusing that it's rigged. They love teams tanking because they're not doing anything to actually stop it.
You see the NHL system. The NHL had their draft lottery last week. Their system wouldn't allow Dallas to get the number 1 overall pick. You're only able to move up, like, if you win the draft lottery, you're only able to move up a maximum of, 8 spots.
Okay, Chris Cody, the Le Batard family tree of friends, Jorge Sedano has been ahead of this particular curve for many years. One of the first controversial things I ever heard Jorge Sedano do is he told the commissioner of the league, David Stern, that his league was fixed.
I remember this.
Yeah, well, can we call Jorge Sedano and just talk to him about this? Because what you guys are alleging here is outrageous. However, if I may just answer your question for a second.
Time to throw away all journalistic credibility and get reckless. Here is something we like to call reckless speculation.
You're good.
Thank you, Tony. Didn't seem like anyone else knew what to do there. We missed Stugotz. Zaslow doesn't know how to replace him. He's a pale imitation.
I'm living my life.
Who's putting their name on rigged? Because we're doing a lot of talking about, it looks rigged.
Everyone thinks it's rigged. Why don't they
do you actually, though?
Yeah.
Nobody really
I
does.
don't actually.
I do. Why don't they just give the number 1 pick to the winner of the in-season tournament that they're trying to make a thing?
You know that it's a major accounting firm, Ernst & Young, that is in charge.
And accounting firms have never defrauded people.
Okay, but why would they risk going to prison for the NBA?
I mean, people go to prison for all kinds of stupid reasons. It's
stupid
ego.
basketball.
Yeah.
They're not going to prison.
Stupid basketball. Terry Rozier's out here.
Of course they would go to prison if they rigged the lottery.
Yeah. What's the law? What law covers that?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I'm a journalist, not a lawyer, so you're asking me questions I don't have all the specifics to. Okay. I'm also a judge.
Yeah.
He's a judge. He doesn't worry about the rules. He just enforces them.
He is, with prejudice. He is climbing up the ranks. He is both judge and journalist, so he's judge and jury.
And
sometimes
executioner.
executioner.
Right.
Yeah.
Your Honor, I apologize
Okay,
for doubting you.
but to answer
Sustained.
Mike's question, why do we love this system? Because the NBA is great at knowing before the rest of us did. Hey, stories and storylines are fun and entertainment. How about we throw in something everyone loves? It's gambling, a lottery. Make it totally random. Everyone loves a televised lottery. Look, you're going to watch a live television program.
they had game show music going the whole
yeah,
time,
hey,
too.
were you hurt by Luca? The lottery fixes all of your dreams. Nico goes from terrible executive to star-studded one. And I think Billy's question is a reasonable one. Don't put it past him. He might not draft Cooper Flagg. He might draft
We don't know that.
He might draft someone else.
Rolando Blackman was pretty non-committal when they spoke to him after they won.
But the answer to Mike's question on what's fixed, because it is fascinating. I want to hear you guys actually argue about this, where the conspiracy theories lie. But it's not the games or the lottery that's fixed. It's the costs. Like, if you keep all of the fixed costs with all of these young players that are worth a huge amount of money, a Jason Tatum, and you negotiate the business of this, like, I understand your skepticism, but Zaz is right when he says all of this would be profoundly illegal to fix the lottery.
Right, but it's not stopping people from saying that it's fixed, which is a perception issue. And more importantly, it's not actually stopping teams from tanking.
But also, like, where is it in the Constitution? Because, like, right to bear arms, right to
Correct.
free speech, don't rig the NBA draft lottery. Like, I missed that amendment.
You know what also doesn't help the whole draft lottery is rigged is when the most famous player in the world, LeBron James, insinuates that it's rigged. Like, why does he insist on doing that? He puts out the laughing emojis immediately after. And don't forget, when he was on the McAfee show, what was it, like 4, 5, 6 months ago? And he straight up says he believes the NBA rigged the draft lottery in 2003 to get him to Cleveland.
I'd like a crack at answering that question psychologically, actually, because I've come around on, like, Billy's theory when he says Aaron Rodgers just is somehow addicted to attention. That's what the virus is. LeBron James, when Mike said yesterday of Pat Riley, he's being prideful here, duh. LeBron James has realized over the last 20 years the power he actually has, and it's because at this time of year, he's always the one everyone's talking about. It's been for 20 years. Like, that's where he went from kid to adult, after, 20 years old on. He's been the most famous athlete in the world, surprisingly normal in public, and the league just got taken away from him. Like, where everyone understands that Steph injury, what it means, right? Like, they got Jimmy Butler for Jimmy. Give us 24 games of the crazy.
By the way, Jimmy last night.
No, but
Yikes.
no, please, all the needles to the legs you need. Give us just 24. Get Steph to the end. We'll take 24 days of crazy. Steph and LeBron are giving over the league right now. This is cold to say. Jason Tatum and the Celtics machine didn't just blow a tire last night. The engine blew. Like, the teams will get better at threes faster, and next year OKC will be better because they've got fixed costs. They've got, hey, you guys all got to stay in 7 years in OKC, Shea. You can't leave. You know why? We got you locked in. Please sign an extension now, because we had James Harden and Kevin Durant and we had Russell Westbrook, and we learned in a small market the thing that New York had to hire like a bunch of agents to figure out, which is if we have all the draft picks, we can keep them OKC fixed costs, because that lottery, it pays for everything. Like,
yeah, but you can have fixed costs without a lottery. I'm
talking about
I
the whole
simply
way.
do not comprehend using the fixed costs as an argument to keep the lottery.
No, but you're just
in
saying
place.
the draft.
I'm saying the business of the sport on display for all of us to see, especially in the age where the transaction is so important that we're talking as much today about Giannis and about the draft as we are about the game that was played.
It's not for all of us to see. It happens behind closed doors with an accounting firm that the NBA hires, and the sources are, just trust us, bro.
Okay,
I
but
can
there's
understand.
a room full of representatives every team in there too.
I understand.
It's not wrestling, Mike.
I'm not alleging that it's rigged. I'm saying that everyone thinks that it's rigged, and there are reasons why everyone thinks that it's rigged.
But nobody talks about it being rigged the year that the team with the highest percentage likelihood wins. They're talking about it now because 1.8% won.
That's how you throw them off the scent.
That's
if you bring
an
it every
anomaly.
year.
LeBron did. LeBron gave voice to, they had the best odds that year, and what? They still fixed it to make sure I got there. There's plenty of reasons as to why people think it's fixed because it's not super transparent.
But the idea of risking the credibility of a league just
No,
for
take away credibility.
Dude, they rigged the 06 finals. There was a referee rigging the 2006 NBA finals. What are we talking
That's
about?
a rogue referee. This is like a league decision of like, all right, we're going to manipulate all these things.
It's a rogue referee that officiated a lot of games and was allowed to continue to officiate while an investigation was pending, and had other close referees that I should remind you are still officiating to this day.
You're playing both sides, though. You just said you don't actually believe it's rigged. And now you're like, but...
No, I'm not telling you what to think. I'm asking you if you'd like to. There's plenty of reasons as to why people think it's rigged. And also, one of the reasons it was!
You also have their officials, while not making bets, impacting the outcome of games where, like, every team exactly how the official is going to referee that team. Like, the human element in basketball is crazy and how much they impact the game.
Billy's dead on. There are so many betting trends for certain officials. Oh, you're going to want to take the road team here. There's a human element here. There's also, like, this guy favors this one team. There's absolute stats for that.